Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, on this episode number 5.
Episode number 5,
Episode number 5 of Outside the Locker Room with, of course, yours truly, the Birdman and Adana Sports, rocking it live here on another Facebook Live episode of OTLR. Shout out to CEO Whip. Shout out to all the people making it happen at TSJ 101. Check us out on the website, tsj101sports.com. All your latest and greatest news all around the world. We cover everything from sports, water polo, football, whatever you want.
Water polo, wow.
I just made that up.
Okay.
I just threw that in. So I improvise. We got you locked for all the greatest news. Check out, we got some shirts for sale too, you know.
Absolutely.
You know, some TSJ 101 branded shirts as well. We got some OTLR Outside the Locker Room with yours truly and Adana Sports on there as well. Check them out on the website. Subscribe, hit the subscribe button on your Facebook, hit the subscribe button on your Twitter. You can follow me at the Birdman78 and at Child of God on Twitter as well. And we're just gonna get right into it. Yesterday was the kickoff of a football season, Don, the 2008-2019 season, and led the way the Philadelphia Eagles, former Super Bowl champions, or I guess you could say current. Well, it's a new season, so we'll just say former. Defending champs, I like that. Defending champions, the Philadelphia Eagles hosted the Atlanta Falcons, and according to the ratings, Don Sports, they were down.
Yeah.
I don't know, it was a late start in Philly. About a 35, 40-minute delay. The kickoff went at 8:55. They had the championship ceremony as well. Presented the rings, the banner dropped, and the rain fell, and so did the thunder. But it was not any thunder and lightning in the game, Donna Sports. I mean, you come out and, the city of Philadelphia is electric already. Fans are ready. Coaches are ready. Players are anxious. Ready to start this thing all over again and get it started. And do you think it really tapped into the psyches of these players? Maybe not so much the coaches, but to these players before the game, having to wait 35, 40 minutes to get out there. Do you really think it tapped into their psyches? It was definitely a sluggish start. Action didn't really start to pile up to the second half. But Down Sports, what do you think about that when you have on a stage like this?
Yeah.
National stage, first televised game, first game of the season, Thursday night, defending Super Bowl champions, and it's a game delay. Do you think it played into the psyche of the players at all?
Well, listen, I mean, you're going to have things like this. Mother Nature obviously took her course last night. This started well, beyond, the official start of the game, which was supposed to be 8:20. Mm-hmm. We knew that there was going to be a game delay. Weren't sure what time, but, there are times where, you're kind of getting to your fundamentals and your, how you like to prepare yourself before the game, whether it's stretching, whether it's throwing the football, if you're, the quarterback, of course, listening to your music, all your pregame rituals that you may have prior to starting the game, those get interrupted a little bit as well. But, on the flip side, you have an opportunity, and the players had the opportunity to go back, into the locker room, look over the game plan one more time, make some of those mental notes and mental adjustments that they felt like they would need to do before the game, and really kind of mentally prepare themselves. So, there's both sides of the coin to it, but we know that professional players, especially in the NFL, are very, very meticulous about their pregame rituals and, even their pregame meals, and they like to do things at specific times before the game. So, could that have, added to or interrupted the good play, in the first game, particularly on the offensive side? Maybe, but I tend to see, the first game of the year, first week of the season, it's always a little rust for the offense, as they're trying to work out the kinks in their offense, find out what things are going to work, and then make those in-game adjustments. And so that was one of the things that we seen yesterday. Right. And, hopefully it doesn't, expand itself and happening, on Sunday and Monday throughout the rest of this first week of the NFL. But, it looks like to me they got ready, they got going, and we had football, of course.
Football was and led the way. We know a lot of Philadelphia Eagle fans really thought it was going to be Carson Wentz to open up the season, but it was not. It was Nicky Six.
Yes.
St. Nick came and blessed the Philadelphia Eagles with I mean, you could say a lackluster performance, but the job got done as the Philadelphia Eagles won 18-12. A very odd score for a game. Almost seems like in a baseball score. I mean, I've seen baseball scores over 18 points. So
Yeah.
wow. I have. The Phillies,
Actually, didn't the Phillies get crushed by like 25 runs?
Yeah, that's another story.
We don't want to talk
We
about
don't
them
want to talk
right
about them right now. But yeah, very shaky start for both teams. Atlanta came out running on all cylinders. It looked like marched right down the field, got stopped at the goal.
Opportunities.
4 opportunities at the goal line, could not punch it in. The Philadelphia Eagles defense really stepped up, and that is going to be the key point that you're going to see with Philadelphia Eagles. I believe the defense is going to be amongst the top in the league, up there with the Los Angeles Rams, up there with the Los Angeles Chargers, both LA teams out there to live and die in LA. But big production from the front four. Fletcher Cox came out there and really put a stamp on things. Great. I mean, if you had to give a game ball to somebody, like I said, I have to say it was Chris Long. Chris Long,
Yes.
2 tackles for a loss. He had a sack, 1.5 sacks. It was just creating havoc in the backfield. He would have had another sack if Derek Barnett, and a forced fumble. He did have a forced fumble, and he would have had another sack if Derek Barnett didn't line up in the neutral zone. So with that being said, the defense really stepped up in a big way for the Philadelphia Eagles, and I'm really surprised at Matty Ice. You know, this is a guy that was a former MVP candidate, well, the year before last. He beat out. There was Dak Prescott was in the discussions. Tom Brady is always in the discussions. And I just didn't see enough from Matty Ice. And you look at the weapons that the Atlanta Falcons have with Mohamed Sanu, of course, Julio Jones, who pretty much put a cast iron skillet against the Philadelphia Eagles cornerbacks and had 10 receptions, 169 yards. No touchdowns, might I add. We'll get into that later on why that's not happening in Atlanta. But they really came out on fire, but was it... I mean, I really want to give the credit to the Eagles defense. But there were some things that I seen that Matty Ice did that was not MVP candidate-like. A lot of, I don't want to say rookie mistakes, but something you wouldn't see a seasoned vet do as often.
10-year pro.
A 10-year pro. PA kid. But what are your thoughts on Matty Ice and his play?
Listen, do I think that he's going to get it together at some point? I do. Matty Ice is certainly, you know, among the top quarterbacks in the league. He's not, you know, obviously that first tier when you talk about Brady, Breeze, Manning. You know, obviously you could throw other names, Wentz name, and, you know, Russell Wilson, a couple of different players. You know, he'd probably be that second tier, bottom of that second tier. But this is kind of the play that we've seen from Matt Ryan, particularly in Philadelphia, going up against this, you know, most notably, you know, the last game that they played in last year in the divisional round against the Philadelphia Eagles, found themselves in a similar situation. But, you know, with Matt Ryan, I can't put my finger on it, whether it is, you know, Sarkisian and the offensive coordinator and what he's calling or lack of calling to get Julio open in the red zone. It is mind-boggling to me that, you know, I'm sure you heard that stat, Birdman, 20 attempts over the last 2 years that they've gotten Julio Jones in the red zone, and they've only connected on one of them.
That's a disturbing stat.
And especially when you consider, you know, that was second to, I believe, Nuke Hopkins, who had 23 attempts over the last 2 years and found a way to come away with 12 touchdowns. So you're talking about 12-1. And then you're looking at the inept quarterback play at times that he had to play with in Houston. It wasn't always Deshaun Watson in that lineup. So I don't understand how that can happen. I don't understand how that can happen when you have a receiver like Julio Jones. But here's the deal.
Okay.
Matty Ice has to make better throws. When you look at both of those throws that ended the game for last year's divisional round and this year's opening game of the NFL season 2018, they were not catchable football. Well, last year's was a catchable football,
yeah,
but he did not put it in the place where it would best suit Julio to go up and high point the ball. Yesterday, that ball was going out of bounds. I mean, Julio did a great job because he's a freak of nature to go up and high point that ball and bring it in. But there was no way that he was going to come and bounce with that ball. You look also in the situation where, I think it was on that same play, there was a receiver, and I want to say it was Sanu, who was running and kind of like an inside slant. He kind of put like a little move on a nickel corner and then made an inside slant, and he was open.
Yeah, that's
but
right.
Matt Ryan made the decision that he was going to go with Julio at that last play. Now, I can't blame him, understanding the talent that Julio is, but you have to go through the progressions in an offense, and obviously they were going to, pay some close attention to Julio, knowing that the ball's going to go to him. I think that would have been a great opportunity to hit somebody like Sanu cutting in the middle of the field and maybe come down with that touchdown, and we're talking about something totally different. So for Matt Ryan, I think he needs to get more command of this offense. If he has to go to the offensive coordinator and say, hey, I don't think this is the right play to run in this right situation. Here's the looks that I'm seeing out on the field. Whatever it needs to take, he needs to insert himself more, and also he needs to throw some better balls, for his guys to give them opportunities to high point it and run after the catch.
Yeah, absolutely, and well put. I mean, Matt Ryan, if you look at some of the numbers, 21 for 43, 251 yards, 1 interception, no touchdowns. Very little help from the running back core as well. I think Freeman had 36 yards, 19 yards for Coleman. Freeman went out late in the fourth quarter. He as well. So he'll be back for the second game of the season. And just not a lot of help there. I mean, Julio was the entire show. I think his longest catch was 36 yards. It was a 40-yarder that was called back, which I think, Donna Sports, was a catch. I mean, that was a catch. He pinned it again. I mean, if you look at it,
that ball was moving. It had some movement to it, and I could see why the refs may have went that way because, as he began to gain control of the football, because he did at one point, you could see his shoulder kind of out of bounds at the time.
Right.
So, listen, it's very, very close. Could I have been upset if they called that a catch? Absolutely
I mean,
not.
but let's talk about catches. I mean, it's a circus act out there. You don't know what's a catch right now. I'm confused with a catch. You see one where Dennis, where their tight end catches the ball. Austin Hooper. I'm about to say Dennis Hopper. How about that? Austin Hooper catches the ball and it's like pins it against the ground. They call that a catch. Then you see Zach Ertz, which definitely wasn't a catch, and then the Julio Jones. Which I thought was a catch, pinned against the shoulder, and it just you're lost looking at these games and not knowing what is a catch. And I'm telling you, it's going to come down to a defining moment in a game where it's going to be AFC Championship, NFC Championship, or maybe even Super Bowl, where that moment is going to be very crucial. They need to get this right now, Donnie. They really need to look at the tapes and see how they're going to figure out on a clear-cut understanding on what is a catch. Because right now, the entire NFL, the referees in totality, and the viewers and the media have no idea what a catch is.
And you know what? And you're absolutely right. But looking at this game too, Birdman, and I know you'll have a lot of things that you want to say on it.
Absolutely.
This was kind of like a tale of two tapes. In the first half, that was about as pedestrian of a performance, from an offensive standpoint that I've seen the Eagles put up, probably over the last 3 years. I mean, they just could not do anything. Constant 3-and-outs, couldn't get out of their own way. It didn't look like they were getting much push, up front, which is where you expect them to win, from a line of scrimmage standpoint on that offensive line. And, kudos to Doug, and we have to talk more about him. Because,
Philly!
Coming out in that second half, it kind of looked like it was getting ready to go that way again, as it did in the first half. And Doug and Nick Foles, got together a lot like they did in the Super Bowl. Were great minds think alike. They were on the same page. Called that play that was very, very similar. A little bit different, probably closer to the Patriots play that they ran against the Eagles in the Super Bowl.
Pretty good.
Are
they trying to stick it to the Patriots again?
I don't think so. I think it was just an
opportunity.
The
injury there.
I don't think so. I just think it was an opportunity to run a play that they felt they had better personnel to run and to execute, because obviously the Patriots did not execute that play. But where I'm going with that is you got to give Doug credit, because understanding the makeup of your team, understanding that you needed something to insert and interject some energy into this team. They called that play, and what did they do? Boom, 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 touchdown. From there, you're seeing new blood, new life in the offense, and where, I believe the Eagles had, I don't know, maybe 6 yards rushing. I think they had 1 total yard of offense in the first quarter.
In the first quarter, 1 yard.
And ended up, getting, I think, 97 yards rushing in the second half. Led beyond Jay Ajayi, who had 15 carries for 62 yards.
Pretty good day.
Corey Clement broke one long, had an average 5.2 yards a carry. So, really, really good opportunity to interject with that play call, interject that energy. And, boy, you've seen on both sides of the ball in that second half, most notably in that third quarter, or the late third quarter into the fourth quarter. I mean, that was a different Eagles team.
Absolutely.
You started to see, Nick Foles didn't have great numbers. We know that, but you started to see some plays being made by him. You started to see this run game opening up. The line of scrimmage, this offensive line is going to be one of the best in the league. And so you've seen that went in the line of scrimmage there, and it gave, of course, the defense more energy to get more stops. And I think that was the telltale of the game.
Yeah, they fed off Ajayi's energy. It looked like he was very upset in the beginning of the game, being on the sidelines as Darren Sproles. Even though Ajayi was listed as the starter, right out of the gate, you've seen Darren Sproles, who we missed his presence. They missed his presence about a year before. About a year, comes right in, gets a couple handoffs, a lot of passes thrown to him, a lot of swing passes, and Ajayi was on the sideline. We didn't know. We knew that he was recovering from a lower body injury, and now when you say lower body, that can be anything: hip, torso, ankle, which it was an ankle, but he came out on fire and even
didn't look hurt to me.
And even gave a little feed me,
got into that end zone twice.
A little Zeke action there.
Yeah.
As he helped, of course, the Philadelphia Eagles prevail.
He looked good.
2 touchdowns, 62 yards. And Doug, after the game, says he's going to definitely feature him in a lot more of the running game. But slow start, but an effective one for the Philadelphia Eagles as they come out 1-0. Falcons are going, I believe they headed back to Atlanta.
Second time in a row that they held that offense, that high-powered offense in Atlanta under 13 points. I mean, that is just mind-boggling.
It is mind-boggling.
When you look at that, and then not only returning some, most of their people that they had last year, but then having a Calvin Ridley, who they went up and got in the draft. You just really thought...
He didn't get a catch.
No, I think he had maybe 3 targets the whole game.
He had 3 targets. He had one that he should have caught. He did drop. But, not a factor, man. And a lot of people, you can nitpick all the time. And if anything, I want to nitpick on the Philadelphia Eagles before we move on, because we got to talk about some contract issues. There's some people out there that got paid, which we talked about, which, of course, is Khalil Mack, and he has a new home in Chi-Town.
Yeah.
The Chi.
Yeah.
But there's some guys that they haven't got paid yet, and their offensive line are chirping, chirp. But the Philadelphia Eagles are going to have to do something about the receiving core. I'm really not liking the camaraderie or lack of connection that they're having with Mike Wallace. Mike Wallace is a veteran, a savvy veteran who's been around this league for quite some time. Mm-hmm. So I'm pretty sure he knows there's a certain selling point that you have to have when you are a receiver. For instance, and I bring up his name because, he's not a Cowboy anymore and he's still out there. Des Bryant is really good at selling pass interference. Mm-hmm. I don't see that same thing with Mike Wallace. He is a burner. He still has speed, as we seen last night.
Oh, he's got it.
But he's not selling anything. And if he is, they're not buying. What I mean by that, he had a couple scenarios where he was in position to grab the ball, but I didn't see a hand go up. I didn't see a flare. It was just like I'm going through the motions. And here in Philadelphia, we are able to sniff that out. Players, coaches, and fans are able to sniff out when you're not giving a full 100% effort. So I just didn't see 100% effort for him. I know Mac Hollins is out. Sheldon Gibson made an appearance. I really wasn't pleased with his appearance. Carter did make a catch. So he did get involved, but Nelson Aguilar, I think he had 600 receptions for 26 yards. I'm pretty sure he broke the reception record. I mean, he was, but he didn't have the yardage, but he also provided a spark there. So I'm curious to see in the next couple of weeks how the Philadelphia Eagles are going to handle this receiving core if they do go out and get, and I don't want to say a splash because Dez is up there in age, but I think he can provide some leadership to this team. Or if they go out and get a Corey Coleman. Now, Corey Coleman is still out there, who I thought the Patriots might take a look at, but they brought in 3 other receivers that I've never heard of. So I don't know what the deal is with Corey Coleman, if there's some off-the-field issues or if there's some issues with him in general, whether it's mental state stability or what exactly is the case, because the guy is the number 1 talent and he is a guy that I think can ball.
Yeah.
So we have to see where that goes, but I'm curious to see how the Philadelphia Eagles move forward. And they got news which hasn't been confirmed that Carson Wentz will miss about a month, which will put him right around the time frame, which I think the Donna Sports spoke that he should come back during the Tennessee game, which is not a Minnesota game, which I know you don't care where he comes back, but I wouldn't want to throw him out there against Minnesota right then after we just after the Philadelphia just went there and took a triple decker in their own field, and won the Super Bowl. But with that being said, that's something we're going to look at with the Philadelphia Eagles coming up in the next couple of weeks if they do address the wide receiver position. I just don't think Wheaton, Shelton Gibson, Carter, Alshon Jeffries is not coming back for 2 more weeks, so that'll line him up for the Colts game. I just think some things need to be done there to shore up that wide receiver position. But Le'Veon Bell, we got movement in the north, which I think, if you guys follow, matter of fact, I'm not even going to go here because I know you guys don't follow. I know you guys are not, you're not following. But the north returns. Chicago gets a very good all-pro linebacker, future Hall of Famer, and Khalil Mack, and it wasn't cheap. Reported first, a 6th for next year. Then another first and a third, and they received in return a 5th for 2020.
In a second, I believe.
In a second. I'm sorry, a second and a second and a 5th? Second and 6th.
Second in 2020 is 6, I believe.
Exactly.
For
So,
2019.
yeah, steep price. Now, some would argue that Khalil Mack didn't really, I want to say he wasn't a difference maker because that would be disrespectful to Khalil Mack. But they lost without Khalil Mack. The defense was not amongst the top echelon, and I don't like those people who are on that side speculating, because one man can't make a whole defense better. Mm-hmm. You can't just have Fletcher Cox and say your whole defense it's elite. You can't have just an Aaron Donald, who is the best defensive player in the entire NFL, in my opinion.
I don't believe that, but
well. We can discuss that.
We can discuss that.
Well, I'm going to make my point, and we will discuss that, because it's obviously that maybe you didn't have your cup of coffee today, but I had mine.
Didn't have it. Didn't have it, but I wanted it.
But we did have some wings yesterday. Are they still sitting on you?
Heavy.
Okay. Okay, we'll get to that. But I think Aaron Donald's the best defensive player in the league, and you just can't have him and just say, "Oh, my defense is supposed to be top 5." And Khalil Mack, I mean, led the league in most pressures, most hits on the quarterback. He's all over the place. But I understand the aspect I understand the perspective of the soon-to-be Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders now have the opportunity to go out and get a Le'Veon Bell if they wanted to. Mm-hmm. They now have a platoon of picks. But the thing is, Chucky's going to have to do, if he's still here when they get those picks in 2020. I don't know. Nothing's short in Oakland. But he better hit home run. He has to get a Hall of Famer out of this. Yes, I'm going to say it. He has to hit home runs. And when I say a home run, you need a guy that's going to perform and come in right away. Mm-hmm. I mean, you got enough draft picks. You're going to have 3 first-round draft picks right now. You have your own. And I'm pretty sure. No, you're gonna have 2 this year.
2 this year
and 2 next year. Yeah, but they can also make some moves for that second and move up and get another first pick. So when you look at the draft class, they're gonna have to make some decisions. And this is not done overnight. We know there's a process, so trust the process. That's not just in Philly, that's everywhere. So I'm curious to see what they do from there. But he got paid.
Le'Veon, 10 years, $100 million.
Yes. $87 million guaranteed. Highest paid defensive player, even though that looks like it lasts about 3 days. Aaron Donald had the title 3 days, and Khalil Mack stole it from him. But you got that guy getting paid. And then on this hand, you got Le'Veon Bell, who's arguably the most versatile running back in the league. Are we in agreement?
Yes.
Okay. He can receive the ball. He can take the ball out of the backfield. He can block. He can throw the ball.
That's running back of this generation,
So,
quite honestly.
Well, once again, I walk 2 steps, you go 3. So, I mean, generation, I think we need to really analyze it.
I don't even think it's close.
Okay, I think you really need to analyze this down to sports because that's not true. In this generation. Where's your generation? Is your generation in the last 3 years? Or what?
This generation is essentially since he's been in the league. That's this generation.
And how long has he been in the league down to sports?
He's been in the league for 5 years.
So 5 years. There's not been another running back better than him.
No.
If you're out there on Facebook Live, please write in the text blog and tell me if you agree with him. Because when they say in this generation, I'm old school, so I'm thinking he's talking about my generation, which would be false.
That's why I said this generation.
It's not even your generation.
It doesn't matter. I said this generation.
Oh, okay. Well, make a case to me on why Le'Veon Bell is not getting paid by the Pittsburgh Steelers, and will he get paid by someone else?
Well, I mean, the problem, is that, running backs, we understand and we've talked at length, how devalued that position has been over the years. Because when you really look at it from the skill position standpoint, it's probably the position that has the shortest length of greatness, or even, playing time in the NFL. It's around 3.5 years. And, listen, we just talked. You just heard how much I think that he's a generational talent. I think we understand that the Pittsburgh Steelers they run their business, a certain way.
Okay. Doesn't mean it's the right way.
Doesn't mean it's the right way. They run it a certain way.
Okay.
And they are. I don't think they're willing to commit long term. Are they possibly willing to commit? 1 year. Year-to-year basis. Probably. But that's not what Le'Veon Bell wants. Obviously, he is due to make $14.8 million, I believe, this year, if and when he signs that tender. I mean, that puts him, the highest paid, running back in the league for the 2019
Well, he was
season.
there the last couple of years because he signed the franchise tag.
Right.
So, I mean,
However, he's looking for a long-term commitment. I mean, if he goes out there, even if he would have came to training camp, got himself injured, I mean, he does not get that long-term security that he's looking for. And when you see a running back like Todd Gurley, get his money, and, they essentially paid him before they even had to. I mean, Todd Gurley's just in his 3rd year.
Could it have anything to do with them being very close? I mean, well, they went out in the 2nd round. The bye week. Could it have been that they went further than the Pittsburgh Steelers? Could it be?
No. I mean, I think that it's a deal that suits best for Todd Gurley because it gives him, makes him the highest paid on a total gross salary paid back in the league, but it also gives the team a favorable deal as they're trying to get ahead of the market. Before Le'Veon Bell potentially sets the market. And
they don't have an Antonio Brown there. I mean, Antonio's getting a pretty penny, too.
Well, you could say that they don't have an Antonio Brown, but they also signed Brandon Cooks, who's making $80 million.
Brandon Cooks, he got signed first?
He signed before Todd Gurley signed. So, my point is the running back position is devalued. I think they're looking at the fact that, listen, when you're given a contract, especially a long-term deal, you're getting paid for what you're going to do moving forward and not so much what you've done previously.
Right.
And, Le'Veon Bell's 26. He's getting ready to be 27 years old. I think that they're a little bit concerned about that. Now, here's the other thing. And this is where, Le'Veon Bell has to take some ownership. One, we talk about the injuries. He did suffer a major knee injury, although it was 2 years ago. Where he blew out his ACL. I mean, he's come back since and been, as good, if not better than he was before. So that's not an issue. But it's happened, and I have to note it. But the bigger part is people tend to forget Le'Veon Bell's been suspended 2 times.
For the weed.
For marijuana.
For the weed.
That's something that was on him, not on the organization. And it's happened multiple times, which means it can happen again. So, if you're the Rooneys, you're like, can I really trust that he's going to be there? Can I really commit a long-term deal to him and be tied up in cap salary and he's not even out there, benefiting the team. So, it's a tough situation. I think that they should pay him. I think that he's earned his contract, and I do think he still has a whole lot left in the tank. But I think the Pittsburgh Steelers, again, they run their situation a certain way, and I don't think that they're going to move away from that.
I mean, and I think I'm also on the man getting paid, but of course, some people are not in agreement. Some people I don't think the aficionados, I'm still your word, around the league are saying he shouldn't get paid. I think that's for a fact. I think people are in 100% agreement that Le'Veon Bell is worth the check. When you look at the checks that's being cut out here, for people that I don't think it is worth, hint, Derek Carr. And so, hint, I must even say Brandon Cooks. I know you may believe that he should be paid, but I mean, when the contract got set out, he was the number one paid receiver.
Mm-hmm.
That's asinine. I don't understand how that could happen when you have an Antonio Brown out there, a Julio Jones out there. I'm going to even say an A.J. Green, who's an unsung hero, a guy that doesn't speak much. The biggest media or news he's made is when he got to the fight with Jalen Ramsey over there and running his mouth over there in Jacksonville. But a guy that doesn't really, he has respect to players and his peers, but doesn't really create a lot of riffraff. His contract's got to be, when is he getting paid? So
Antonio Brown's already gotten paid.
He has gotten paid, but I'm just saying, the fact that if I'm your agent, now Brandon Cooks, I don't know who his agent is, but it's a damn good one. That I can come to you and say, I'm bringing this into the table. Because as an agent, I believe you have to lay out all your pros, all the things you can bring to an organization, and line them up with other receivers.
I mean, okay, you're going to do that, but I mean, they just reworked or just did Antonio Brown's deal last year. Why would they do that again?
No, they don't have to do that again. But I'm talking about the fact that how LA paid Brandon Cooks all that money. What could he have brought to the table to tell them, who was a guy that played for Drew Brees, Hall of Famer, Tom Brady, Hall of Famer, and now playing with Jared Goff? We don't know.
One year, number one offense in the league.
I don't care about number one offense. So what? 1 year. I mean, that doesn't make up his whole career. I would hate for...
Well, one of the things he's going to, if I'm his agent, one of the things I'm going to bring to the table is the level of production that he's had over the last 3 years.
What's the production?
Is
he like the top leading receiver?
He's not the top leading receiver, but over the last 3 years, he's averaged 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns, or 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. And while you're trying to put that from a production standpoint in line with Julio Jones or in line with a Antonio Brown or Odell Beckham, which I think is unfair, we all know as it pertains to professional sports and pertains particularly to the NFL, it's not so much of how great you are, but it's falling in in the right market and what type of market that you do have based off your level of production. You look at a guy like Garoppolo, off of 5 starts, he got a $127 million contract. Are you on board?
I'm not on board with that.
Are you on board that Kirk Cousins?
But we know the quarterback.
Are you on board that Kirk Cousins got a fully guaranteed $87 million contract?
How about he was like second in completion percentage, next to Alex Smith? I mean,
in completion percentage, okay, Dinkin and Duncan.
He's Dinkin and Duncan. Did you see his yards?
Yeah,
you happen to look at?
He's averaging a little over 4,000 yards.
So 4,000 yards or something.
He's averaging a little over 4,000 yards.
Did Carson Wentz over 4,000 yards?
Yes, he did.
When did he throw for 4,000 yards?
He threw for 37.
Okay,
37. But he missed 3 games.
He didn't do it.
He missed 3 games. He would have shattered 4,000. He probably would have threw for 5,000.
We're going off probably.
He threw 33 touchdowns.
But who does he have? Who does Kirk Cousins have at wide receiver? Who did he have in Washington? Pierre Garçon?
At one point, he had Pierre Garçon and Deshaun Jackson. Deshaun Jackson had very good seasons with Kirk Cousins.
Has Deshaun Jackson ever
had 1,000 yards?
Yes. No, I'm not talking about 1,000. Has he ever even hit 80 receptions?
He did with the Redskins. He absolutely did.
Challenge.
Then we got to get the producers on that. But
challenge on that one, brother. You remember all saying with the Eagles, he did that.
He did have 80 receptions with the Eagles.
Okay, but I'm not talking about Washington. He didn't. He was unspoken there. He wasn't there. if you want to say that, listen. Bottom line is, I believe that Le'Veon Bell should get paid, but this is where it gets really. This is where, and tell me what you think about this. I mean, we got to get to our picks for the week before the show ends. But offensive linemen now speaking out on Le'Veon Bell. We want to know what you. I got to get the exact quote of what the offensive line was saying about.
We're talking about what Marquise Pouncey.
Marquise Pouncey, and who's is a well-known. The producers is going on. But is well-known and a very good offensive lineman in the league. Him and his brother. But was it in their place to speak on this man's money? Because I think you crossed the line. Because that's a bridge. I'm not going to say you can't. That fence you can't mend. But that's you're sitting out here. You already have your money.
Mm-hmm.
You're playing and you have a contract. You got your guaranteed money, whatever the case may be. You have stability. It's clear that the Pittsburgh Steelers do not want to bring me back. And I'm pretty sure that's what his agent thinks. I'm pretty sure that's what Le'Veon thinks. I'm pretty sure that's what his entire camp thinks. So why not give me my money now or get me out of here? So I don't have a problem with that, but it's clear that his offensive line does. Tell me if they were out of line in saying what they said.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And they refer to him as being selfish. They refer to him
There's
as
more than one. That's crazy.
Yeah, they refer to him as being selfish. They refer to him as saying, listen, why don't you just stop hiding behind your agent and tell us the truth, that you're not coming back, all these different things, or when you're coming back. I think that they're out of place when they do those things. You never count a man's money. Le'Veon Bell's only leverage to get a new contract from the Pittsburgh Steelers or somewhere else is his services. So he's going to protect himself, hold out. And I don't think that was his initial thought and initial idea to hold out. He came out and said that he was going to report to camp.
And that's what Aaron is saying. And that's what
an incredible season.
Aaron is saying that now.
But once he's seen the deal that took place.
Exactly.
With
going right where I'm going.
With Khalil Mack, he's like, okay, I see how Khalil Mack used his leverage. Now, obviously, different positions, but he used his leverage and was for his services and was able to get, a trade because Oakland was unwilling to pay him, and got a trade and was able to get that long-term deal and security he was looking for. Well, Le'Veon's looking at the same exact thing and saying, hey, his agent obviously is in his ear saying the same exact thing, and I think that those guys need to respect and understand that this is, I understand on one point, it's the locker room, it's the brotherhood, all those things, but there is a business aspect to the NFL. Mm-hmm. And the owners and the GMs don't have any problem leveraging that influence and leveraging that when it comes time to negotiations. When it comes time to a player that is under contract, mm-hmm. that they, cut, for whatever reason. They don't have a problem with not owning up to that contract then.
That's right.
But when it's on the player side and they're looking for a contract, they want you to own up to the contract that you're under. Well, you can't have it both ways. And Le'Veon Bell's just utilizing his leverage that he has. I'm all on board for him doing it. I hope it works out for him. But these, the offensive linemen have no reason, coming out and saying what they said, and now you got Ben Roethlisberger come out saying
he always
Connor is
just as good.
He's worked on his hands all summer, and he's going to be,
you gotta back your guy. You gotta back.
Yeah, but you know what?
You
don't do anything that can prove itself to be any kind of slight or shame to Le'Veon Bell. After all that he's done, Le'Veon Bell, for his career, averages the most usage than anyone in NFL history on an average, for a game basis. I mean, he's been ultra productive,
absolutely.
For them. So the fact that he would come out and say that, regardless of what his intentions were, I'm not on board with that. So hopefully Le'Veon continues to utilize his leverage and it works out for him.
And like I said, and when you look at contracts, and I hear you out there, Aaron, talking about what Le'Veon committed to and saying he was going to be here before the season. But there was a couple of people that got paid, which really opened his eyes. that everyone in the league is using the leverage and getting paid. You think if Le'Veon Bell didn't do this holdout that Todd Gurley would have got paid? I don't think Todd Gurley would have got paid this year.
If Le'Veon didn't do the holdout?
I don't think he would have got paid. Especially,
I think that he would have because I feel like it was good for both teams. Like I
it
feel
was
like
absolutely good for both teams, but they might not have hesitated. They might not hesitate on pulling the trigger right now or giving him as much as he wanted right now. Because once it was rumored out of what Le'Veon Bell wanted, they already had the market. They wanted to set the market of where it was going to go, which it didn't do. It did a disservice to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now there was a number of people that got paid. He got paid. Aaron Donald got paid. Brandon Cooks got paid. Aaron Rodgers got paid. Khalil Mack got paid. Garoppolo got paid. There's a lot of people that got. Kirk Cousins got paid. A lot of people got paid when he was still having these issues and telling them that
Matt Ryan got paid.
Matt Ryan got paid too.
$100 million man.
You know, so I mean, it doesn't look like he's worth a hill of beans right now. But
I don't know that I would go there.
well, you know, I'm over the top. I say what you don't want to say. But I mean, I mean, there's a lot of people that got paid. I really think the money and the money that the other people was getting, I really think it really hit a sore spot with Le'Veon, and he's going to hold out. Now there's been rumored that he will come back tomorrow on Saturday, but it doesn't look like if I know the Steelers organization and the Rooney family and what's going on there, they're not going to start him.
No.
They're not even giving him the bulk of the carries, despite whatever he does in that game. That's just who they are. They're a stickler for not being ridiculed or not being frowned upon. These guys are, and they've been doing it the Rooney way. They've been doing it all since I've been alive, and it's worked for them. They have multiple championships. So I mean, why change? They're not going to let one player dictate to them how they're going to move. And Ben said that, mentioned that as well about it's a team. It's a team.
I mean, that's
game.
why we've seen, receivers the likes of Emmanuel Sanders and Plaxico Burress, and the list can go on and on. Who, went to other teams, when they were still in the apex and prime of their careers, is because, listen, they like to get ahead of what they, and especially the one thing I have to say about the Pittsburgh Steelers, they've done an excellent job down through the years in drafting replacements.
Absolutely.
So, there's no doubt in my mind that they probably look at Connor as being the replacement and heir apparent for Le'Veon Bell. So why are they going to, pay him, 3-4 year contract when they have the heir apparent, which they probably feel on their roster right now, to be able to take over?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, we got some weekly picks that we got to get to before we end the show. And man, since we Philadelphia Eagles, no need to pick that. That's already said and done. But I mean, we got some games out here, Don. We got a game Saturday.
No game Saturday. I mean, you got college, some big college football games.
But
Saturday.
we do have some Saturday games on the NFL season, though. That that's something new. I've never seen that.
This week?
No, I'm talking about in general.
There
some
will
Saturday
be.
games.
Absolutely.
Some Saturday games.
But
up first, we're gonna go Buffalo Bills at the Baltimore Ravens. If you're looking to see a Lamar Jackson sighting, I don't think you'll see one Sunday because he is not one, not two, but the third quarterback on that depth chart, which I think was the right decision. I don't think he's ready yet, even though he shows a glimpse of brilliance with using his feet and his arm as well. I think he's got a live cannon back there, but he's going to learn some. And I'm really glad that RG3 made the team in Baltimore as well. But Baltimore and Buffalo coming in with some quarterback issues. Mm-hmm. There's no A.J. McCarron there. They're starting not the rookie, but they're starting Nathan Peterman, which I think you could see the rookie still play in this game. Work cut out at Baltimore. Don, what are your thoughts? 1 o'clock start for the Ravens, which will be aired on CBS.
I like the Ravens big in this game. I think that Joe Flacco played stellar throughout the preseason for the limited time that he had, but he had an amazing camp as well. And it's funny how that happens when you have somebody that you finally have him in a position where he has to look over his shoulder, and it's not just, you're getting $26 million this year. Mm-hmm. No. We drafted somebody in the first round. My name is Lamar Jackson. He is going to be that heir apparent and that replacement. Joe Flacco wants to put a pause on that. So he looked good. I expect the Baltimore Ravens, with Alex Collins running that football, playing really good defense with Terrell Suggs, who is still getting after it, to win this big. My pick for this is probably going to be somewhere around 24-6.
Okay, 24-6. I'm going to say, I'm going to take the Ravens, and I'm going to have the Buffalo Bills only scoring 10 points. I'm going to go 24-10. Baltimore. One of the big games this week, Odell Beckham is paid as well. That's a name that did we mention Odell? Pretty hefty, number one receiver and the highest paid receiver in the league. They are hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars in New York City, and or should I say, New Jersey? East Rutherford. But it's quite a matchup. Everybody's going to have their eyes pinned on one of the best cornerbacks that's in the league. Of course, Jalen Ramsey and Odell Beckham. I have this game. I'll give this game first. I'm going to say that the Giants fall to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And a good game, 31-24. I'm going to have it as a high-scoring game. I'm sorry. That's too high for the Jacksonville Jaguars defense, who haven't lost anybody. My apologies, Jacksonville. I'm being disrespectful. I'm going to have it 21-10, Jacksonville, led by Fournette with 2 touchdowns, and I do have him on my fantasy team, so I'm definitely wishing upon a star there, but it could happen. What you got on Fox with the Giants and the Jaguars?
I like the Giants in this game. They're at home. They got some really good weapons. I expect their defense to play a little bit better this year. I also expect, Eli with these newfound weapons to look better this year. The offensive line is a little bit improved. Still a lot of concerns on that right side. But what it comes down to me besides Fournette, where are they going with the football on that offense? And Blake Bortles, is to me not the answer in Jacksonville. And it's a shame because they have a championship defense. But it's, and it's going to show this week. But, it's going to be close but no cigar. I got the Giants winning this 19-16.
Oh, no biter there. Out there in the swamp land of the bayou, you got the Saints hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and of course it will be no Jameis Winston. They will have Fitzpatrick starting, and actually they won't even have Deshaun Jackson starting. He is moving to the slot position for that offense with a Goodwin out there on the outside, and then you have, of course, Mr. Mike Evans on the other side. And I'm going to say the Saints win big. I'm going to say 31-17 Saints. They're just not going to be able to stop the air attack that Drew Brees brings. A handful of touchdowns for Kareem Hunt. I know Don Swartz doesn't like to hear that. He doesn't have anything to worry. He has a good fantasy team himself as he's facing off against Kareem. I said Kareem. Yeah, Kamara. Big day for Michael Thomas as well. I just think Drew Brees in the offense won't be able to be stopped. Gillislee makes an end zone appearance as well, as he is a new Saint there, holding it down before the Mr. Suspended comes back and makes his presence known with Mr. Ingram. But I have him 31-17 Saints.
Yeah, I like the Saints in this as well. Not a whole lot to add to what you said. Tampa Bay is a team that is, is kind of in a rebuild mode, but I like what they did with that defense. That defensive front, I think, is going to be pretty good. They will get pressure on Drew Brees, but Drew Brees will dissect that defense. I'm going 27-10.
All right. Out there in Boston, home of the Patriots, Tom Brady in the bunch. Without a couple of things. Without Edelman, there's no Amendola there. Some receivers that you never heard of. You do have a Chris Hogan, like I said, and then you start to look at the list and you start to get lost. Is James White going to be the receiver? Burkhead has been mentioned that he's going to be a big part of the offense and be starting at the running back, which don't be fooled by who's starting at running back fantasy football owners because you don't know who's going to get the ball in that offense. But I have them, and I've just changed this pick down. I had the Texans winning until I seen it was in New England. Bad taste in their mouth. They're looking to upset people. I'm going to say this is a very, very good game. 24-21 Patriots. Big day from Gronk.
Yeah, and I'd love to see that, but I have Houston winning this game. They're getting some players back. Clowney getting J.J. Watt, back, of course. Quentin Merciless. Don't forget they got the Honey Badger over there. And that offense, I think, is going to be explosive behind Deshaun Watson.
And your guy Brandon is chiming in. He's laughing. He says Kamara's going to make Mark Ingram sit the whole year.
Okay. We will see about that, but he's got to worry about his matchup with me this week.
He's winning right now.
He is, but I have no players that have played so far.
Oh. Okay.
So Houston,
try to help you out there, Brandon.
Houston, I think, is going to take this. I want to say this is going to be 31-34, a barn burner. Tom Brady does not complete that game-winning drive this time to put them ahead of Houston. Houston comes out and I don't even know if it's an upset, but on the road against New England and gets it done.
Absolutely. We go out to Minnesota, home of the Horns, as they host the San Francisco 49ers. Garoppolo makes his appearance as the starter from game one now. A very wealthy starter, if I might add, from Garoppolo, and he's going to be out there. He's going to have his work cut out for him. All of the defense is back for Minnesota. If you want to count Terrence Newman as not back because he is retired, it still doesn't miss a beat there. That was something that should have happened years ago, but he did add to that defense. But Minnesota, they get Dalvin Cook back. I really think it's going to be a 1-2 punch in that game. I don't really think Dalvin Cook is 100% back, but I just think Kirk Cousins really, really lights them up. And I'm going to say he goes for over 350 yards passing and 4 touchdowns. I'm going to say 4. You heard me. 4 touchdowns. So that's 28. And I'm giving the Niners 17 as the Vikings beat the Niners.
Jimmy Garoppolo has not lost a game so far.
Oh, yeah.
With San Francisco. I think that trend does not continue this week. They are going to lose. I'm going to say a lower scoring game than what you're saying. I think it's going to be 20-14. It's going to be close throughout, but I think Kirk Cousins gets it done in the fourth quarter and pulls his team away.
Yeah, absolutely. We got out there in Miami. This is going to be a very dull game. It's going to be wet. It's going to be rainy out there in Miami as they host the Tennessee Titans. Two offense that really sputtered, but I have to say Tennessee was in the playoffs and they upset the Steelers. So Deion Lewis is a new face there. Of course, formerly playing formerly playing in New England, and now it's going to add to that offense. I'm going to say that the Tennessee Titans win this game, 21-14. I'm going to say 21-14 Titans. I think Mariota really comes to his own in this game. It gets a relationship with Corey Davis. So we'll see there. And, of course, Delaney Walker is a force that it's been overlooked at the tight end position. And I really think it's going to be a big key in this offense. I see him finding the end zone at least 2 times as the Titans. I have the Titans beating the Dolphins.
Last time we seen Tannehill starting for the Miami Dolphins, he led them to 10 wins. I like Miami at home this week. I do think Tennessee is going to long-term be the better team, but I like Miami this week. I like Tannehill playing very, very well. I think Amendola is going to be a problem in the slot for that defense, who also can't seem to generate enough pass rush. Look out for the Kenyon Drake and Frank Gore combination to be pretty successful against these defensive front and linebackers in Tennessee. I'm going to go 21-20 in a very, very close game, but Miami pulls it out.
Absolutely. We move on to the Colts, which this is a game a lot of people are picking the Bengals, and I'm actually going to pick the Colts in this game. At home, Andrew Luck, stadium's going to be on fire. Beautiful stadium. We actually went out there to see the Eagles play the Colts out there a couple years ago and witnessed Andrew Luck and a very good comeback from the Philadelphia Eagles as Darren Sproles put the game-winning touchdown. But Andrew Luck's going to be back. I really think he's going to find his target a lot. That's right, his new tight end. Well, not his new tight end, but his old tight end. But he's going to reestablish that connection. T.Y. Hilton's going to be big on the action. I'm going to see Wilkins get into that end zone. I'm going to have the Bengals losing to the Colts 24-21. And A.J. Green has a field day with them as well. I couldn't even name 2 people in their secondary except Hooker. And I'm not talking about T.J. Hooker. That's for you older people. You don't know about the TV show. What do you got for the Colts and the Bengals?
I actually like Cincinnati in this game.
Okay.
I think Joe Mixon is going to punish this defense. I think that A.J. Green will get off. You'll probably see him go for over 100 yards and a score. Andy Dalton will have a very, very good game. I think those stats that you said for Kirk Cousins, you can apply that to Andy
Wow,
Dalton.
4 touchdowns?
I think he's going to throw for 350.
All right.
Touchdowns.
And he is
And I like them.
lead.
I like them 38-14.
38-14. We go out to Cleveland. Cleveland is hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is a division game, and this is a game. This is not a division game. Yes, it's a division game. This is a division game, and I'm telling you, I'm picking the Cleveland Browns over the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know why? Because I can do that, and Le'Veon Bell ain't there. If Le'Veon Bell does not play in this game, I'm picking the Cleveland Browns. Despite Connor maybe having 100 yards rushing. The defense on it is very much improved in Cleveland, and the fact that they're going to stick with Tyrod Taylor, it says a lot. And I really think the running game for the Cleveland is going to be very, very good. We know that the Pittsburgh Steelers have taken hits with the linebacker, of course, with Shazier, an unfortunate incident there. We know they lost James Harrison a few years ago. The linebacking core is not where I think it should be. The line, you got Hayward, but I really think Carlos Hyde and Chubb gets it done. I'm going to say Pittsburgh Steelers fall 17-10 Browns.
I like Cleveland to win a wild card, to go to the wild card playoff this year. Right. And that being said, they will win this game. Regardless of
in agreement with the Donna Sports.
They're just going to be, the better football team this particular Sunday. I like starting Tyrod Taylor, having some stability at that quarterback position. Who does not turn the ball over. I do think their running game could get going against Pittsburgh, and then they could gash them with some big plays in that passing offense. But that defense and Myles Garrett coming off, the edge, for that team, I think it's just going to, really wreck Ben Roethlisberger, and I'm not quite sure he's going to be able to finish this game, although I hope the best for him. But I like Cleveland in this game 24-17. All
right, we go out there to L.A. again, and the Chargers are hosting the Kansas City Chiefs, and led by a new quarterback, Pat Mahomes. And but I really had the Chargers really dominating this game, but then I found out Joey Bosa wasn't playing, and then I also know there's some of their secondaries hit. But I'm still going to pick the Chargers. Phillip Rivers gets it done at home against the Kansas City Chiefs. I have them winning in a very sloppy game, but a very pass-efficient game for, of course, Phillip Rivers. I have them winning 24-17 over the Kansas City Chiefs as Kareem Hunt struggles in the run game there.
I like the Chiefs in this game. I like the Chiefs 21-21 in a tie.
Wow, in a tie.
I'm just kidding.
Now, see,
I like the Chiefs in this 21-10.
The people don't even believe you.
I think that they're going to be able to run the ball with Kareem Hunt, and pass the ball well as well. So there you have it.
He picks a tie. Like, really?
Guess we got to speed through these picks.
Yeah, we got to speed through the picks. Okay, Seattle is going to be. The Broncos are hosting Seattle, and Shaquem Griffin makes a start there. He's going to be starting there, a linebacker for Seattle Seahawks. I actually think the Broncos, even though it's up there in the Mile High Club over there, new quarterback, new settings, new running back. Freeman's going to be starting. I really think it's going to be rocking out there. I actually have the Broncos winning in a high-scoring game. 34-21. 31-21 Broncos.
Wow. I like the Broncos to lose this game. Russell
You're just
Wilson,
picking everything that I'm doing. You're just going against everything.
Nah, not necessarily. I just really like Russell Wilson. He's my MVP pick for the season.
Oh, I have him on my team. That's the first bright thing you said all day. Thank you.
Yeah. I think they'll win a low-scoring game, 10-7, because I don't think either offense will get going. It'll be close to the Eagles in the Atlanta game yesterday, but they'll win.
All right. Dallas hosting the Panthers. I don't want to talk about this. The Panthers win.
Yeah, the Cowboys are probably going to be one of the worst teams in football this year. So,
oh, man. We're losing viewers already. People are just falling off.
Panthers 21
It's America's team. Yeah, I'm also going to have them. I got them 24-17. No, 24-10 Panthers as well. Cardinals out there in the Valley of the Sun hosting the Washington Redskins. I like Alex Smith in this bunch. I actually think it's not even going to be close. I'm actually going to say it's going to be 21-3.
Wow.
Redskins.
Yeah, Sam Bradford is back. I think David Johnson goes wild, and I like this group 31-13.
Oh, the Pack got a new group out there for them. And they got a new tight end. They got a wealthy quarterback at the helm. But they have a guy named Khalil Mack in Chicago who is going to look to feast off of some cheese in Green Bay. But Green Bay, I think, wins in a nail-biter 24-21. as the Bears come this close to beating Aaron Rodgers.
Bears pull up the shocker of the weekend.
Wow!
I like the Bears. I like the Bears in this game, 28-24, and I really think that Trubisky is going to come into his own.
Oh, you're a Trubisky fan now. You know I picked that team in the North. This thing. Okay. I had him second in the North. Okay, moving right along. We got 2 more picks. Detroit Lions. I have them ousting the New York Jets, 31-10. Matt Stafford is going to lead lead the NFL. Lead in this week in passing. I really think he's going to really have a feast with that secondary back there. I know Jamal Adams is one of my favorite players, but just not enough. Sam Darnold, there's going to be turnovers all over the place in this game. Very sloppy game, and it's in a dome because if it was in New York, it would have been wet. But Matt Stafford has his way. He's going to be leading the league in passing, amongst one of the leaders in passing in this NFL this year. So look for the Lions. I got them winning 31-10 there.
I got nothing to add. I actually got the same score, 31-10. I think the Lions are all over.
I think
the
you're
Jets.
just tired.
No, I think they're all over the Jets. Sam Darnold will look well, but this is not going to be a good day for the Jets.
All right, we got the Raiders hosting the Los Angeles Rams for our final pick. That's 2 games on Monday night. This is a 10-20 start. You know, I think it's the last episode of, well, it's Monday, so power will be over. Mm-hmm. So I might be able to stay up for this one. Raiders fall to the Rams at their own building, 24-7. 24-7, the Rams put up a barn burner up there.
Because I don't like what the Raiders did, I'm going to say that they're the only unscored team for the week. I think that they're going to lose 28-0.
To nothing. Okay, folks. Well, we have exceeded our airtime here, folks. Thank you for tuning in to our Facebook Live. Check us out. Follow me at the Birdman78 and follow, of course, the Donna Sports at Child of God. Check us out on the website, tsj101sports.com, for all your latest and greatest news, from your water polo. We got football. We got basketball. We got skating. Ice hockey.
Why are you lying to these people?
It sounds good.
All right.
I'm improvising. This is what they pay me the little dollars for. But we'll be back on here, same bad time, same bad channel, Friday, 7 to 8. And actually, wait a minute. We will not be here Friday, 7 to 8. You know why? Because I'm getting flown out to Tampa Bay. I'll be in Tampa Bay to see the Eagles host, Tampa Bay hosting the Philadelphia Eagles. That's right, I will be there. But I will try to get some footage to you guys on live on Friday from Tampa Bay. Maybe go around the city, get some thoughts on what's going on in the city, what they think is going to happen during the game. Of course, I got to go down there for the tailgating people. I got to be down there. We're going to put them on there. They will be on there probably Sunday as well. But we're still going to have something up here for you guys to see. Maybe another show. We'll see. But we'll be back here. So check out us out on the Twitter as well to find out all the information. As we post it, we'll keep you posted daily on what changes we're going to have made. Shout us out on the Twitter. Let you know any likes or dislikes on the show. And until next time, folks, I guess we're out of here.